YouTube, it's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So we have some very surprising news as YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul, who is now 5 wins, no losses, no draws, 4 wins by way of knockout, 25 years of age, 6'1" with a 76-inch arm reach, coming off of a highlight reel, brutal knockout victory over UFC legend Tyron Woodley that took place December 18th of 2021. With that said, Jake Paul has surpassed 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer who currently is the unified undisputed super middleweight world champion and was widely considered the face of the sport of boxing and top 3 or number 1, however you so choose fit to put him, as the best pound for pound fighter in the world in Saul Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is 57 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout, 31 years of age, 5'8", with a 70-inch arm reach. With that said, on boxing's Forbes list, Jake Paul has surpassed what was being considered the cash cow in the sport of boxing. And Jake Paul is a YouTube sensation. He does essentially, he's a novice and he does, exhibition style fights, but they're real professional fights. It's just as a novice, he's fighting guys that you are familiar with instead of fighting your local cab driver, sanitation worker, truck driver, and 9-to-5er. Like most professional boxers that start their career, Jake Paul, he started his career in 22 years of age. And Jake Paul is known to be a YouTube sensation. So with that said, Jake Paul, he gets recognized for his status, but he doesn't get recognized for the fact that Jake Paul is simply a novice in the sport of boxing. Just like everybody else that starts off, they fight low-level, recognizable competition, okay? You look at the record of Canelo Alvarez when he first started, you don't recognize the guys who he fought. You know, their record, their resume. Canelo Alvarez has 2 guys in his first 15 fights that had 1 fight in their entire career, and that was against him, okay? So Jake Paul, he's just doing it against, entertainers and athletes of other respective sports, okay, of other disciplines. So Jake Paul is doing it against UFC guys like Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren, okay, NBA superstar Nate Robinson, other YouTubers, things like that. But you don't know the guys that Canelo Alvarez fought or Floyd Mayweather fought or any of your favorite fighters in the first 15 fights outside of some anomalies like Vasyl Lomachenko, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 3-division world champion, former unified lightweight world champion, Ukrainian superstar boxer. Outside of Vasyl Lomachenko, who only has a total of 18 fights currently, and he's 33 years of age because he started late. He had a early push because he started late. He turned professional at 26, 27 years of age. So with that said, just think about this. Lomachenko turned professional at 27, okay? Jake Paul is 25, and he's fighting your local cab drivers, right? He's fighting your entertainers, your superstars from other disciplines, and that's where he gets the pushback, right? But Jake Paul, according to Boxing Forbes list, has surpassed Canelo Alvarez as the highest grossing boxer in the sport of boxing in 2020. By far, Canelo Alvarez in 2021, excuse me, I said 2020. In 2021, Canelo Alvarez reportedly made $34 million, okay? In 2021, Jake Paul reportedly made $45 million. So he made $11 million more than Canelo Alvarez inside the squared circle, inside Canelo Alvarez's respective sport. So his popularity is soaring. And because of that, Jake Paul is now in deep negotiations to face off against another legend, retired Hall of Fame iconic superstar boxer in Iron Mike Tyson, who is retired, finished his career 50 wins, 6 losses, no draws, 44 wins by way of knockout. 5 times in his career he was knocked out. Mike Tyson is now 55 years of age, 5'10" with a 71-inch arm reach. Now Mike Tyson will be by the time this fight comes to fruition, he'll be 56 years of age because his birthday is in June, and it looks like this could happen around that May time. So he'll be teetering on 56 years of age. Now, Mike Tyson, he did exhibition bout with another legend in Roy Jones Jr. That did massive pay-per-view numbers, and it was a comeback legends fight. So Mike Tyson is now in negotiations with Jake Paul, which is going to do enormous numbers. They're expecting it to do $36 million live gate and pay-per-view. Huge numbers, okay? So Jake Paul has also started his own promotional company, and he signs the likes of female legend icon and future Hall of Famer and Amanda Serrano, who's a 7-division world champion, unified world champion, and going into the biggest fight of her career against undisputed multi-division world champion, United Kingdom superstar, Katie Taylor at Madison Square Garden. It looks like that's going to take place in sometime in April, May. Okay. So with that said, Jake Paul signed Amanda Serrano, and guess what? Jake Paul's going to do something and break history again. He's going to break ground again, as Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor are both set to make over $1 million for the first time in women's boxing history. Have we ever had a female make over $1 million in a fight? And now you're going to have two females making over $1 million in one fight in one night at the most famous arena in the world, Madison Square Garden, New York, New York. So history will be made again on the part of Jake Paul. So now Canelo Alvarez is viewed as the face of the sport of boxing. Canelo Alvarez is viewed as the pay-per-view king, the cash cow in the sport of boxing. And here we have a YouTuber and taking the format and taking it to a whole nother level and outgrossing and out-earning the face of the sport of boxing, or who's being considered the face of the sport of boxing, in Canelo Alvarez. And Jake Paul is a YouTuber, okay? And now he's going to smash records and do even bigger numbers facing off against Mike Tyson. Now, Jake Paul, who's not a small guy, Jake Paul is looking to face off against other boxing novices to prove his point, to solidify himself as a true boxer. Okay, so he was supposed to face off against two-time undefeated heavyweight world champion superstar United Kingdom boxer Tyson the Gypsy King Fury's brother in Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is a novice in the sport of boxing. He don't look so great. Okay, so the problem here is that Jake Paul doesn't get the recognition, the acknowledgement, because simply Jake Paul is a novice in the sport of boxing. He's just coming into the sport of boxing, and because he's a mouthpiece, he promotes himself. He's already rich, coming from a different lane, okay, line of business. He's already rich because he's a YouTuber. He takes the sport of boxing serious, but because he's fighting entertainers, people are not taking him serious and writing him off as, well, Jake Paul is doing exhibitions. No, he's not doing exhibitions. It's a legit boxing matches. Okay, you have boxers that don't fight. They fight 4 rounds for their first 10 fights against guys you never heard of, 9-to-5ers, okay? You don't know what they do in their background. Canelo Alvarez, let's just go look at this. His first fight was against Abraham Gonzalez, okay, as a professional. He got a TKO victory. Abraham Gonzalez had one fight in his career. He never fought again. That fight was against Canelo Alvarez. He ended his career 0-1-0, okay? Then Canelo Alvarez, he faced off against Pablo Alvarado, who had one fight in his career. That was against Canelo Alvarez. He ended his career 0-1-0. Then Canelo Alvarez, he fought Miguel Vasquez, okay, who debuted against Canelo Alvarez. And again, he never fought ever again. His only fight is against Canelo Alvarez. Then he faced off against Pedro Lopez, who was 0-0-1. And he had one fight which he lost to Canelo Alvarez, and he never fought again. Then he fought against Jorge Juarez, who was total of 8 fights, 3 wins, 5 losses, and Canelo Alvarez got a draw with this guy. Then he fought Juan Hernandez, who had a total of 4 fights in his career, and he lost to Canelo Alvarez. Then he fought Christian Hernandez, okay, who had no fights, and he fought 1 time in his career. Now he finished his career 0-1-0, and that's against Canelo Alvarez. Then Canelo Alvarez fought Francisco Villanueva, 4 wins, 5 losses, no draws. Canelo Alvarez knocked him out. Then once again, he fights another guy who never had a fight in his career as a professional, Daniel Martinez, and he lost 0-1-0 to Canelo Alvarez. And guess what? He never fought again. So then he fought Javier Martinez, who was debuting again, another fighter with no fights. And he has 1 fight in his career. He loses to Canelo Alvarez, and he never fights again. So then he fights Ivan Aleskis, 4 wins, 5 losses. Canelo knocks him out. He never fights again. So you get the picture, right? Canelo Alvarez fought at least leading up into his step-ups. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fights. His first 10 fights, he fought 7 guys that never had a professional boxing match in their life, and they only had 1 fight, and that fight was against Canelo Alvarez. So this happens as a novice in the sport of boxing, okay? It just is what it is. This is how things play out when you're first starting off as a professional boxer. The problem is Jake Paul is doing it against guys like Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson is a name, okay, and he comes from a different respective discipline. But those guys Canelo Alvarez fought, who knows what line of profession they was in before they stepped in the ring with Canelo Alvarez. You just don't know, okay? And then he fought Tyron Woodley, who's a combat athlete, but he never had a professional boxing match. Again, the same situation like Canelo Alvarez. I guarantee you put Tyron Woodley in one of those 7 guys that never had a fight in their life before facing Canelo Alvarez. I'm sure Tyron Woodley would get some victories over those guys. So the point is that Jake Paul is a novice, and he's becoming the cash cow and a major player in the sport of boxing, starting his own promotional company and paying big money to fighters, career changing paydays for these fighters on his undercard. And he's getting highlight reel knockouts, and now he's reportedly earned more money in the sport of boxing than Canelo Alvarez, according to Forbes. And now he's going to go into a major showdown with Mike Tyson that's only going to heighten his profile, his name, and his platform. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like your shitty videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Oh, it is your boy Jada Kiss. Make sure you check out Blue Blood Sports TV. It's going down.